Is the replacement insured for the car? I wish you'd stop calling my assistants replacements. Just because you don't like them as much as Jerry. Jerry may have been head and shoulders above everyone who's come since, but it's still rude. Nick met his eyes. And calling them the wrong name like you do isn't. The car's insurance is set up so it covers all additional drivers now. So tell... The current replacement's name was clearly just on the tip of his father's tongue. If you keep above 80 on the motorway, you should be there in time for the delivery men. I'll pay the fine if you get one. When Michael turned back to his phone, Nick retreated to his bedroom. It looked strange without his things, like the guest room it had been before he'd moved in 4 years ago. The single crumpled ball of paper in the bin looked forlorn and abandoned. He shivered, as if there were a window open, though he was the one who'd gone round checking that everything was shut before their abortive attempt to leave. He took his book out to the living room, curling himself up into someone else's troubles. 20 minutes later, the sound of the doorbell jolted him back from a life where every question had an answer, every problem a solution. "Bye, Dad," he called as he buzzed the replacement into the building. He bookmarked his page with Jerry's card again, wondering if the current replacement would even bother to comment on the day. Michael appeared for a moment at his study door, phone to his ear, and pulled an expression like a Greek tragedy mask. "Ready to go?" Nick asked the replacement when the lift doors pinged open in the hall. The replacement's look went from friendly to surly. "Shouldn't I check in with Michael first?" He slipped into the apartment for a spot of hasty ingratiation. "Never gets out from under it, does he, your old man?" asked the replacement as he flicked the apartment door shut behind him a few minutes later. In the glaring light of the basement, the car looked murderous, polished to a vicious shine. The replacement sank into the driver's seat with a moan of delight that made Nick shudder. He tapped the sat-nav into life, checking the traffic reports to forestall further conversation, though the replacement seemed temporarily content, stroking the steering wheel, wriggling unpleasantly in his seat, playing with the controls on the dashboard. "So, excited about the move, then?" the replacement asked. "Know if there are any other pint-sized geniuses heading to Cambridge?" "Not this year. And I'm not actually a genius." A snort from the replacement, the type that said, "Pull the other one," and "Your false modesty sucks," and "Looking for compliments," all in one neat little package of spite. I started school a year early, when I was 4, because I was already reading. Then I went up 2 years when I was 11. That was when I moved in with my dad, so I was changing schools anyway. He persuaded the new school to let me join the year ahead, because I'd been finding the work at the old place too easy. "So, it's not just me that your dad pushes, then. You must have loved all that extra pressure at school on top of moving and having to make new friends." "Actually, that was the best bit. It gave me something to do, seeing as how no one was all that keen on making friends with the new kid, especially when they found out I wasn't just short but 2 years younger. But I was still bored, because even then the work wasn't that hard. So, after a month, I got Dad to talk them into moving me up another year so I could start the GCSE syllabus. That meant I did my A-levels 3 years early. That's the only reason I'm going to uni so young. It's not like I proved the Riemann hypothesis or anything." "I thought you were one of those maths prodigies." "My dad's good at making it sound that way, but I'm not that special." He bit his lip over the automatic rush of defensiveness. "I did well enough in my Cambridge interview and STEP maths admission tests to get a place, fair and square, with my predicted A-levels. Then I said the right things about why I wanted to study there straight after sixth form rather than take a gap year, let alone 3. That wrung a bark of laughter out of the replacement. "Anyway, they don't like maths students having a pause before uni, so..." He shrugged. "You're not so bad, kid. For a genius and all. You know, my dad..."